Continuing from the previous chapter, after Lin Dong entered the stone hall, he relied on his powerful spiritual perception to first locate the position of the heavenly talisman tree. A rich aroma of medicinal herbs filled the air, and the incredible energy emanating from them left Mo Tai and the others nearby utterly stunned. They stared wide-eyed, their breathing growing heavier as they took in the sight of the hall filled with rare herbs. Lin Dong exhaled softly, then slowly stepped further into the stone chamber. As he moved deeper inside, he began to grasp the true expanse of the room. It was filled with various precious herbs, but Lin Dong's eyes did not linger on them. Instead, his gaze was firmly fixed on the heavenly talisman tree in the distance. Suddenly, his pace quickened. Mo Ling and the others followed closely behind Lin Dong. It was only then that they realized his objective. Their eyes showed a mix of surprise and excitement. Although they had heard rumors of the heavenly talisman tree's existence in Thunder Rock Valley, seeing it with their own eyes left their hearts unsettled, even if they had prepared themselves for this moment. Brother Lin Dong, your luck is truly remarkable. When the news of the heavenly talisman tree first spread, no one knew if it was real or not. Who would have thought that we would come across it so soon after entering this place? Mo Tai said with a smile, his eyes gleaming with a hint of envy. They all knew the rarity of the heavenly talisman tree. However, they also knew better than to overstep their bounds. If Lin Dong had shown mediocrity during their journey, there might have been some disputes over the tree. But fortunately, Lin Dong's two displays of power had thoroughly subdued them. So, when they saw Lin Dong's clear desire for the heavenly talisman tree, they wisely chose to remain silent. Instead, they turned away and carefully collected some of the nearby valuable herbs. Selling these would fetch quite a few Nirvana pills. Lin Dong's steps finally came to a halt before the heavenly talisman tree. Being so close, he could now see the intricate patterns densely covering its branches. These patterns seemed like a masterpiece of nature, both natural and miraculous, captivating anyone who gazed upon them. As Lin Dong carefully studied the heavenly talisman tree, the fervor in his eyes grew even more intense. Brother Lin Dong, if you fancy it, you should take it now. Delays could lead to unforeseen complications. Mo Tai suggested with a smile as he approached, having just collected a dozen or so rare herbs. He noticed Lin Dong's intense focus on the heavenly talisman tree. Lin Dong chuckled softly, his eyes flickering with thought, but he did not immediately make a move. Such a divine treasure of heaven and earth. Do you think you little runts are worthy of it? Just as Lin Dong's eyes were glimmering with determination, a chilling, mocking voice suddenly echoed through the spacious stone chamber. Who's there? The sudden voice instantly put Mo Tai and the others on alert. Their bodies tensed, and their primordial energy surged forth as they shouted sternly. Just as Mo Tai and the others shouted angrily, a dark figure suddenly darted through the air like a phantom and then hovered above them, looking down with a disdainful sneer. His cold, slightly sinister face bore a trace of contempt as he coldly said, "Since you led the way for me, I won't kill you. Now scram." As he spoke, the dark figure stomped his foot, releasing a powerful aura that surged outwards. Mo Tai and the others' expressions changed instantly, and they exclaimed, "Nirvana stage! Damn it, where did this guy come from? Another Nirvana stage expert." Mo Ling cursed quietly from behind Lin Dong. Lin Dong's eyes narrowed slightly, but he wasn't surprised. He knew that the ancient secret key had attracted more than just the Xianbing dynasty and the Great Wu dynasty. In the shadows, there were surely others watching with greedy eyes, and this man was evidently one of them. The fierce expressions on the faces of Mo Tai and his companions vanished under the overwhelming aura of the dark figure. Their fists clenched tightly, but they were powerless to resist. Against a Nirvana stage expert, they stood no chance. Seeing Mo Tai and the others fall silent, the dark figure smirked smugly. His form blurred as he swiftly moved towards the heavenly talisman tree under the somber gazes of the group. Bastard! Seeing this, Mo Ling and the others tensed up immediately. Lin Dong's eyes narrowed even further. However, as his gaze flickered with contemplation, Emotai suddenly grabbed his arm and shook his head slightly, whispering, "Forget it, we can't beat this guy." Emotai understood well. Although Lin Dong had repelled Yuewen with a formidable strike outside Thunder Rock Valley, that didn't mean he could contend with a Nirvana stage expert. Now, without the constraints of a wager, provoking this mysterious Nirvana stage expert could only spell disaster. "Relax," Lin Dong replied with a faint smile. Then he turned his head to watch the dark figure, who was swooping down like a rock towards the heavenly talisman tree. The dark figure moved with incredible speed, and in the blink of an eye, he was already above the heavenly talisman tree. Reaching out with his large hand, he summoned a mighty surge of primordial energy, forming an enormous energy hand that reached out to grasp the tree. However, just as the energy hand was about to seize the heavenly talisman tree, its previously still branches suddenly lashed out. At that moment, the branches turned a vivid green, exuding a faint, fishy smell that caused even Lin Dong's expression to change slightly. The dark figure clearly hadn't expected the heavenly talisman tree to be capable of attacking. His face changed as well, but being a Nirvana stage expert, he deftly twisted his body to evade the tree's coiling branches. Then, with a swift chop of his hand, sharp winds cleaved down, severing several branches. Yet, rather than achieving any significant result, his violent actions seemed to infuriate the heavenly talisman tree. Immediately, from the severed branches, new growth sprouted at an astonishing speed, spreading out like a vast canopy, assaulting the dark figure with renewed ferocity. Emotai and the others watched in shock. They had not expected that even a mere tree could unleash such formidable combat strength. The heavenly talisman tree is no ordinary entity. It possesses some rudimentary intelligence. Moreover, its branches are laced with a potent poison known as heavenly talisman poison. Even a Nirvana stage expert would find it extremely troublesome if contaminated. Lin Dong explained with a calm smile, noticing the astonished looks on Emotai and the others' faces. Earlier, he had refrained from acting immediately, aware of this very situation. Such a mystical entity was not something one could simply take. Even a Nirvana stage expert, if careless, could easily find themselves in trouble here. "Should we leave, then?" Emotai suggested. The mysterious Nirvana stage expert clearly wasn't someone easy to deal with. If he managed to overcome the heavenly talisman tree, they could very well be next. "Leave? How could we walk away empty-handed after encountering such a treasure?" Lin Dong chuckled, his gaze fixed on the dark figure entangled by the myriad branches. Then, with a sudden burst of speed, he dashed forward. Seeing Lin Dong's audacious move, Emotai's heart nearly stopped, his body trembling slightly. He hadn't expected Lin Dong to be so bold as to attempt to snatch the treasure from a Nirvana stage expert. "You dare, boy!" The dark figure, entangled by the heavenly talisman tree, noticed Lin Dong's movement. A cold light flashed in his eyes as he roared angrily. However, Lin Dong merely scoffed at the dark figure's threat. Utilizing the supreme azure sky walk technique, his body moved like a wisp of smoke, deftly avoiding the branches of the heavenly talisman tree. His movements were light and precise, careful not to sever a single branch. He knew all too well that cutting them would only cause more to sprout. If he kept hacking away recklessly, he would eventually be overwhelmed. If the heavenly talisman poison invaded his body, even a Nirvana stage expert would meet a grim fate. Skillfully dodging the swaying branches, Lin Dong maneuvered through them with ease. In the dark figure's furious gaze, he appeared before the trunk of the heavenly talisman tree. His eyes focused on the center of the trunk, where a peculiar rune, formed by the tree's natural patterns, glowed faintly with a shimmering light. This was the core of the heavenly talisman tree, and all of its extraordinary energy was concentrated in this single rune. If he could take it, he could claim the entire tree as his own. Lin Dong's lips curled into a grin as he gazed at the rune formed from the tree's patterns, now just within reach. Sensing the impending danger, the heavenly talisman tree reacted. Its branches, filled with the deadly heavenly talisman poison, whipped back with lightning speed, aiming to coil around Lin Dong. But Lin Dong paid no heed to the tree's counterattack. His hand formed a claw, and with a swift, forceful thrust, he sent a surge of sharp wind energy crashing into the rune. With a fierce yank, he tore the glowing rune away from the tree trunk. As the rune was removed, the heavenly talisman tree visibly withered, its vitality draining away before their very eyes. The branches drooped, falling limply to the ground. Holding the tree's rune in his hand, Lin Dong flipped his palm and swiftly stored it in his cosmic bag. Almost immediately, he sensed a chilling, murderous intent rising from behind him. "Boy, I'll give you one chance. Hand it over willingly and sever one of your arms, and I might spare your life." The dark figure hovered in midair, his eyes cold and menacing like a ghost's. The killing intent in his voice was palpable, causing Mo Tai and the others' faces to turn pale. However, Lin Dong's next words chilled them even further, sending a shiver down their spines as if they were plunged into an icy abyss. Lin Dong's response was simple, just 2 words, but they were enough to make the dark figure tremble with rage. "In your dreams." Seeing the dark figure's furious expression reach its peak, Mo Tai and the others knew that they had undoubtedly provoked this Nirvana stage expert beyond reconciliation. "All right, you've got some nerve." The dark figure's face grew even darker, his eyes filled with an unrestrained, murderous glare as he fixed them on Lin Dong. "Boy, do you really think that just because you managed to fend off a Nirvana stage expert, you're qualified to act arrogant in front of me?" From his words, it was clear he had witnessed Lin Dong's confrontation with Yuewen outside Thunder Rock Valley. But to him, it was laughable. If it came down to a life-and-death duel, Lin Dong's meager strength wouldn't last 10 rounds against a true Nirvana stage opponent. Lin Dong simply smiled, neither refuting the statement, nor showing any intention of handing over the rune. His calm defiance only made the dark figure's gaze grow even colder. Watching this unfold, Mo Tai and the others' faces turned even paler. Outside Thunder Rock Valley, they had seen Lin Dong fight Yuewen, but that was just a wager. This situation was entirely different. The dark figure was clearly not one to be trifled with. If Lin Dong refused to hand over the rune, there was no way this would end peacefully. In contrast to Mo Tai and the others' pallor, Mo Ling and his 2 companions, though their hearts raced, found themselves blindly choosing to trust Lin Dong. They had been in this ancient battleground for some time, and from the start, Lin Dong had continuously demonstrated astonishing feats. It seemed as if his trump cards were endless, one after another, always keeping them guessing. In the spacious stone chamber, the atmosphere grew tense and heavy. An eerie coldness seemed to seep out, causing everyone's expressions to flicker with uncertainty. "Boy, you've just lost your last chance to beg for mercy." The tense silence stretched for a moment longer before the dark figure finally spoke. Hearing this, Mo Tai and the others' hearts skipped a beat. They knew the Nirvana stage expert's patience had worn thin. The dark figure's gaze was cold and menacing as he took a step forward. Instantly, a surge of primordial energy erupted around him. Beneath his skin, tiny glimmers of golden light began to emerge. Without any indication of employing martial techniques, his form blurred into a streak of light, and with lightning speed, he launched a punch directly at Lin Dong. The air exploded under his fist. A Nirvana stage expert's true asset was their Nirvana golden body, their ultimate weapon. Under such immense power, even a half-step Nirvana expert would not dare to resist. The dark figure clearly had no intention of holding back. His punch, fierce and deadly, targeted Lin Dong's chest. If it landed, it would undoubtedly leave a gaping, bloody hole. Seeing the ruthless attack, Lin Dong's eyes turned cold. Yet, instead of retreating, he steadied himself. A faint, golden glow began to radiate from beneath his skin. Though this golden light was not as concentrated as the dark figure's, it carried a sense of indestructibility. The golden light flowed beneath Lin Dong's skin, and a tremendous force emanated from within him. His eyes burned with a fiery intensity. After a brief moment of hesitation, to Mo Tai and the other's shock, Lin Dong's fist, also glowing with golden light, directly met the dark figure's punch head-on. A deep, ear-piercing thud echoed throughout the stone chamber. A wave of violent energy rippled outwards, instantly reducing some nearby herbs to powder. Lin Dong was sent flying backward, and as he retreated, faint popping sounds came from his body, evidence of the immense force that had invaded his body. This terrifying power could easily shatter the body of a half-step Nirvana expert. However, although Lin Dong was knocked back repeatedly, there were no signs of severe injury. Instead, the golden light on his body grew even brighter under the onslaught of that overwhelming power. Lin Dong's body finally crashed into a massive pillar. The thick stone column, large enough for several people to wrap their arms around, was immediately covered in cracks, but Lin Dong himself finally managed to steady himself. Seeing Lin Dong take a direct punch from a Nirvana stage expert without showing any signs of severe injury, Mo Tai and the others gasped, their minds struggling to process what they had just witnessed. Nirvana Golden Body? In midair, the dark figure's eyes narrowed as he stared at the faint golden light beneath Lin Dong's skin. Then, as if realizing something, he sneered, "So, it's a body refining martial arts similar to the Nirvana Golden Body. No wonder you're so arrogant. But if you think that alone will let you contend with a Nirvana expert, then I have to tell you, you're too naive." As his words fell, the dark figure's entire body burst with an extremely dazzling golden light. This radiance was far more intense than Lin Dong's minor completion of the Nirvana Golden Body. "Let me see how many attacks your Nirvana Golden Body can withstand." The dark figure charged forward. This time, he was clearly channeling the full power of his Nirvana Golden Body. As the golden light in Lin Dong's eyes rapidly enlarged, his expression grew serious. The previous confrontation had already shown him the immense strength of a Nirvana expert. While his minor completion of the Nirvana Golden Body could offer some defense, it was ultimately insufficient to fully contend with such a foe. No matter what, his strength was far inferior to that of a Nirvana stage expert. The golden figure, brimming with mountain-crushing power, rapidly enlarged in Lin Dong's vision. The oppressive force caused cracks to splinter across the ground beneath him. "Lin Dong, run!" Mo Tai and the others shouted, their voices sharp with panic. The Nirvana expert was clearly using his full strength now. He intended to kill. "Can you escape?" From within the golden light, the Nirvana expert's mocking laughter rang out. He stared at Lin Dong's calm face, and the thought of seeing that face smashed to a pulp in the next moment filled him with a twisted, bloodthirsty pleasure. The golden light streaked through the air, and the fist, as if forged from solid gold, finally tore through the air, hurtling towards Lin Dong's head. At this speed and distance, evasion was almost impossible, no matter how fast one could move. D. A savage and twisted expression contorted the dark figure's face. However, just as his punch was about to land, he caught a glimpse of a mocking glint in Lin Dong's eyes. Before he could comprehend the meaning behind that mocking look, a flash of red suddenly appeared. In the next instant, an icy cold, metallic fist collided heavily with his own. A terrifying shockwave burst out, tearing through the stone chamber. The ground cracked apart, and stone pillars exploded into rubble. Even the chamber itself showed signs of collapse. Mo Tai and the others quickly retreated, their faces pale as they stared into the dust-filled chamber. With such an attack, they feared that even someone as strong as Lin Dong couldn't possibly survive. Boom! 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 As they stood there, faces drained of color, a figure suddenly shot out from the swirling dust, feet skidding across the ground and carving 2 deep trenches. As the figure retreated, a fearsome power radiated from within, causing the very air to explode around him. The figure, flung backward, finally crashed into the wall. His body went limp, and a mouthful of blood spurted out. Mo Tai and the others' eyes immediately locked onto the figure. The next instant, their bodies went rigid, their eyes bulging in disbelief, as if they had seen a ghost. For the person who had been sent flying from the dust cloud, spitting blood, was none other than the mysterious Nirvana expert. Staring blankly at the scene, Mo Tai and the others felt their minds had shut down completely. And it wasn't just them. Even the dark figure, one of the main players in this confrontation, looked up in disbelief, wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, his eyes fixed on the swirling dust. This stunned silence persisted for a few moments until the sound of footsteps emerged from the dust cloud. Slowly, they turned their heads, and their eyes widened as they saw a figure stepping out of the haze. Lin Dong's face remained calm and unperturbed, showing no signs of emotion. Mo Tai and the others' gazes lingered on Lin Dong's serene face. It was then that they noticed a tall, imposing figure standing behind him, like a loyal guardian. They followed the figure with their eyes. It was a figure enveloped entirely in a fiery aura. They couldn't make out its face, but the powerful waves emanating from it left them numb with shock. After a long pause, a faint, incredulous whisper escaped their lips. A Nirvana expert. The fiery figure stood silently behind Lin Dong. Although it made no move, a faintly perceptible, chilling aura radiated from it, sending shivers through the stone chamber. In the devastated chamber, a deathly silence prevailed. Mo Tai, Mo Ling, and even the dark Nirvana expert all stared in shock at the fiery figure behind Lin Dong. A Nirvana expert? How could there be a Nirvana expert by his side? Mo Tai and the others muttered in disbelief. They had never seen a Nirvana expert guarding Lin Dong, and judging by the astonished expressions on Mo Ling and the others' faces, they were equally unaware. Blood Spirit Puppet. So, this is your trump card. The dark Nirvana expert slowly wiped the blood from his mouth, his voice hoarse and filled with bitterness. His eyes, far sharper than Mo Tai's, could discern that the fiery figure lacked the life force of a human. Clearly, this being was some kind of spirit puppet. Even so, the heart of the dark Nirvana expert couldn't help but spasm violently. His gaze on the blood spirit puppet was filled with both fear and greed. Such a treasure. He himself had never possessed anything like it. Spirit puppet? Mo Tai and the others were momentarily stunned upon hearing the words. Realization quickly dawned on them, and they looked at Lin Dong with envy. Such things were incredibly rare, and to think that Lin Dong actually had a spirit puppet in his possession. Now, they finally understood why Lin Dong remained indifferent even towards Ling Ji and Lu Yuan. It turned out that he had this awe-inspiring asset up his sleeve all along. A single spirit puppet was enough to rival a Nirvana stage expert. With this alternative Nirvana expert guarding him, why would Lin Dong fear Ling Ji and the others? Lin Dong responded with a nonchalant smile, his gaze fixed on the dark Nirvana expert. He asked calmly, "What do you plan to do next?" Hearing this, the dark Nirvana expert's eyes flashed with cold light. But as his gaze fell on the blood spirit puppet beside Lin Dong, he was forced to suppress his anger. After their earlier confrontation, he knew that if they were to fight, the blood spirit puppet alone would be enough to give him a headache, let alone Lin Dong watching and waiting for an opportunity. The situation had quickly turned unfavorable for him. Clearly, his plans to seize the heavenly talisman tree would have to be shelved for now. Kid, don't get too cocky. Offending the demonic rock dynasty means your days will soon turn sour. A mere spirit puppet is not enough to protect you as you run rampant in this ancient battlefield. The dark Nirvana expert snarled, his voice icy as he glared at Lin Dong. Demonic rock dynasty? Lin Dong remained unfazed, but Mo Tai and the others' faces changed slightly at the mention. Seeing Lin Dong's calm demeanor, they leaned in and whispered, "Lin Dong, this could be troublesome. I've heard of the demonic rock dynasty. They are a powerful force even among the advanced dynasties, and there are certainly more than one Nirvana expert among them. Moreover, these guys are notoriously vengeful. Once offended, they won't stop until they've settled the score. From what I've heard, they've even completely wiped out an advanced dynasty before." Hearing this, Lin Dong's expression finally showed a hint of seriousness. It seemed the demonic rock dynasty was indeed a formidable power. Heck, kid, if you hand over the heavenly talisman tree now and present the spirit puppet as well, this grievance can be forgotten. Otherwise, you may find no place to show your face in this ancient battlefield in the future. Seeing Lin Dong's expression change, the dark Nirvana expert sneered, a note of smugness in his voice. Lin Dong's brows furrowed slightly as he glanced at the man, then replied coolly, "I don't care which dynasty you belong to. Once something is in my hands, it doesn't come out again. Now, get lost." The final word was spoken with a sudden sharpness, and Lin Dong's eyes flashed with a fierce intensity, his face showing a surge of killing intent. "You!" The dark Nirvana expert's anger flared at Lin Dong's defiant stance. He had thought that mentioning his dynasty's name would make Lin Dong back down. But instead, the latter had grown even more brazen. "Fine, keep talking tough now. I will make you regret this sooner or later." Though enraged, the presence of the spirit puppet deterred him from acting rashly. With a venomous glare at Lin Dong, he swiftly exited the stone chamber and disappeared. Watching the dark Nirvana expert vanish, Mo Tai and the others finally let out a sigh of relief. Turning to Lin Dong, they said with a wry smile, "Brother Lin Dong, offending such an adversary could be quite troublesome." "Whatever comes, we'll deal with it," Lin Dong replied with a faint smile. "There's nothing to worry about. In this ancient battlefield, if you're afraid of trouble, you'll never make a name for yourself, nor would you ever catch the eye of those super sections." Lin Dong wasn't particularly daunted by the demonic rock dynasty, even if they did pose a significant challenge. After all, he had risen from the humble beginnings of Yin City. If he had let fear hold him back, he would never have achieved his current success. Seeing Lin Dong's casual demeanor, Mo Tai gave a wry smile but didn't say much. In the short time they had spent together, he had come to understand just how unfathomable Lin Dong was. Despite only being at the peak of the creation stage, Lin Dong could confront a Nirvana stage expert head-on and possessed a powerful spirit puppet as his protector. Perhaps only someone like him wouldn't fear a mighty force like the demonic rock dynasty. Let's move on. There should be other treasures in this stone hall. You all shouldn't leave empty-handed, Lin Dong suggested with a smile, steering away from the topic. He glanced around at the devastated chamber, where many of the herbs had been destroyed in the earlier skirmish. It seemed they would have to search elsewhere. With those words, Lin Dong waved his hand, storing the spirit puppet back into his stone talisman. He then walked out of the stone chamber, following the corridor to explore other areas. Mo Ling, Mo Tai, and the others quickly followed behind. The group navigated through the maze-like, complex stone hallways, and along the way, they managed to make some gains. In several chambers, they found piles of Nirvana pills. Lin Dong, however, didn't take any for himself, allowing Mo Tai, Mo Ling, and the others to divide them up. After all, he had already obtained the heavenly talisman tree, which was his most coveted prize. If he could refine it, his spiritual power might break through again, elevating him to the level of a heavenly talisman master. At that point, he could face even a true Nirvana stage expert alone, without relying on the blood spirit puppet. Moving through the corridors, within half an hour, Mo Tai and the others had made considerable gains. Their faces were filled with satisfaction and excitement, clearly feeling that this trip had been worthwhile. With Lin Dong there to deter any would-be robbers, they weren't worried about their loot being snatched away. After all, even a Nirvana stage expert would think twice before challenging Lin Dong now. Along the way, Lin Dong and his group encountered some other parties, some from Yang City, others who were strangers. However, after a quick glance at each other, everyone hurried along the corridors, clearly eager to search for treasures. Lin Dong's group made decent progress, and after turning through several intersecting hallways, they discovered that the corridor before them had ended, replaced by a vast main hall. Staring at the massive hall that appeared before them, Lin Dong and the others were momentarily stunned, but soon, their eyes began to burn with excitement. Everyone knew that the most important thing in Thunder Rock Valley wasn't the treasures they had found so far. What truly attracted so many powerful figures in advanced dynasties was the so-called ancient secret key. This was the item with the most irresistible allure. Even the highly discerning little mink was immensely tempted by the life and death reincarnation pill said to be within the ancient treasure trove. So, what about everyone else? Let's go! Upon seeing the main hall in sight, Lin Dong didn't hesitate. With a wave of his hand, he led the group directly inside. The main hall was incredibly vast, resembling a large square. At this moment, multiple factions were already present inside. Lin Dong's gaze swept around quickly and spotted Ling Ji, Lu Yuan, and others already there. To their left, two other groups were also present, people from the Xianbing dynasty and the Great Wu dynasty, who had arrived ahead of them. Lin Dong's eyes quickly scanned the hall, but soon his attention was drawn to a particular spot where 5 shadowy figures were clustered together. Though few in number, Lin Dong could sense Yuewen, Wu Mo, and the others' intense wariness towards them. The sudden appearance of Lin Dong's group clearly attracted a lot of attention. One of the 5 shadowy figures turned his head, and his gaze immediately became icy when he saw Lin Dong. This person was the same one who had failed to seize the heavenly talisman tree from Lin Dong earlier. Lin Dong glanced at him briefly, and the man's lips curled into a chilling smile, as if he were a wolf that had spotted a rabbit trespassing into its lair, a grotesque and menacing look. However, this sinister grin did nothing to faze Lin Dong. His gaze shifted slightly before finally stopping at the deepest part of the main hall. There, a sphere of light hovered, and within it, a faint outline of a uniquely shaped key glowed with a mysterious light. The ancient secret key. Lin Dong's pupils contracted as he focused on the object within the light sphere. At the same time, he could sense that even little mink within the stone talisman seemed to have grown excited.